What job position is 100% overvalued and overpaid? Member of the International Olympic Committee, IOC. They've had a lengthy history of excessive demands, $4 million US spent on entertainment in Nagano, traffic lanes dedicated to IOC members during the games, etc. They make very few decisions, all of which are politically motivated. They travel extensively and are paid well for it. https://dailytrojan.com/2021/08/16/ progress without profit. The IOC benefits itself at the expense of athletes. /number:\text equals although %20 most %20 IOC %20 members %20 are meetings %20 and %20 at %20 the %20 Olympics. https://dailytrojan.com/2021/08/16/ progress without profit. The IOC benefits itself at the expense of athletes. /number:\text equals although %20 most %20 IOC %20 members %20 are meetings %20 and %20 at %20 the %20 Olympics. From the article. Although technically a volunteer, the IOC president receives a yearly allowance of $251,000 and lives rent-free in a 5-star hotel and spa in Switzerland. My IT director. He's never around, automates his email, and he has his own company. If someone else is regional VP, they are either drowning in responsibilities working 70 HRS a week, or they have absolutely nothing to do other than collecting a check. Ferrari strategist. Generally, U.S. government contractor positions requiring high security clearances. Entry-level pay isn't that high, but once you're cleared, other contractors will offer bigger bucks because you can get cleared with them quickly. Jump from one to another, wait 2 years, do it again, lather, rinse, repeat. My mum, from whom I am estranged, works as the vice president of reward at an international company. She basically arranges contracts so millionaires can get more money and gets paid £189,000 a year for it. Even she thinks it's ridiculous. President of FIFA. Vivek Garipalli, Clover Health, $389.6 million. George Mekon, Bright Health, $180.8 million. Mario Schlosser, Oscar Health, $60.8 million. John Cow, Alignment Healthcare, $46 million. I am here for a potential change of career. About 2/3 of the upper-level admins at the university I work for. One night I babysat 3 kids for about 2 hours or so. The kids went to bed when I got there, and the parents had left dinner out for me, so all I did was eat their food and watch their TV and pet their dogs. When they got home, the mom paid me $100. I told her that was way too much. She slurred, "Don't worry about it, And then I noticed her fly was down. So that was the most overpaid job ever, lol. My uncle was a commercial airline pilot. He described his job as vastly overpaid in normal circumstances and vastly underpaid in emergency situations. Hospital CEOs, and actually almost all hospital upper management. There are so many layers of management that many of them barely step foot into a healthcare facility ever, let alone ever speak to a patient, yet all of them make 6, 7, 8-figure salaries plus mega bonuses. My hospital network CEO makes $11 million salary not including bonuses, which bothers me. But bothers me even more are all the board members and directly under him making nearly as much. It's hundreds of millions of wasted money paid to the people trying to staff out of good pay and patients into paying big bills. I still don't know what big firm consultants do. The one I had at my last office job. I was originally hired to be the manager of a new project, but the project was never launched and I had a long-term contract. After 5 months of being paid by only clocking in and out without doing any actual work, someone saw me in the pool for available associates and invited me to join their project as a frontline agent. Apparently at some moment the database just marked me as an available employee, without mentioning the rank I had been hired for. I stayed in the company for 6 years, getting paid the salary of a manager, but with the responsibilities of a regular agent. I rejected every offer for growth I had, as I was only working there to pay for a debt. In the end, I made my money with very little stress, and left the company in great terms. Edit. Thanks for all the attention, I really didn't expect it to get so much traction. Here's an answer to a couple common comment I've seen. First, if it was so good, why did I leave? Simple, this job had nothing to do with my own career path. A few years back my life basically crumbled to pieces, I got into some really bad debt and at some point I just had to get a job, even if it was an office job I didn't want. Worked for 2 years in another company before I was recommended for the position in the one mentioned in my post. The day my debt was paid off was the day I presented my 2-week notice and left in great terms. I was lucky to have a nice team around me. Second, no, I won't mention the company or project. It was as an analyst in a streaming app. No, not the super big ones. What I actually did as a frontline agent was a hybrid of customer service and developer support, all text-based. Third, it was indeed a very fortunate set of coincidences and I took advantage as much as I could, but I left due to my own pursuit. I'm doing good with my own independent endeavor, and no salary will be more valuable than my own sense of accomplishment of making a living out of what I love doing. End number X200B, cheers, Reddit. My last job in college, before starting my career. I was an overnight shelter staff for transitional housing. Since these clients were basically back up on their feet by the time they arrived, they were pretty self-sufficient. I was paid about 25% higher than other night shift jobs I could get at the time, and on most nights all I had to do was make one of coffee. The rest of the time I could watch TV, play video games, do personal chores, etc. The one job that I know was better was their overnight sleeper, since we had to have 2 staff at all times. As implied, this dude made a well above minimum wage rate to just sleep there on the weekends. Life coach. Mine, LOL, but I'm not gonna tell my employer that. Whoever was in charge of that in Ohio. Anyone who makes a ton of money by inserting themselves into big transactions and charging fees as a percentage of the transaction, brokers, title companies, etc. In-house legal for a corporation. I basically browsed the internet most of the day in my office, maybe reviewed 1 or 2 standardized contracts and occasionally sat in during a firing. I made $80,000 a year plus benefits. Edit, to clarify, I am a paralegal, not an attorney, and the work was limited to contracts and entity formation. Do car salesmen really do any work anymore? Last time I bought a car I looked online, did my research, and knew exactly what I wanted and basically showed up ready to buy. The dealer just gave me the keys for a test drive, then did the paperwork for me. I work in fintech and I literally do nothing during 9 to 5. I wake up in the morning, start my computer, check emails, morning meetings, then play video games, go to the gym, invite friends over or go out for brunch, and at the end of the day message everyone a good afternoon. I'm absurdly overpaid as well and highly recommend the career. It's like I have a job but I don't, but I do. Edit, for everyone asking, I am a senior expert on blockchain and contract between FANG companies every year, mostly Google and Amazon. The hardest part is the schooling, but afterwards the actual work is quite easy. It's a pretty surreal career and I understand how privileged it is to have a stress-free job. I've seen how badly an unhealthy work-life balance can impact a person's mental health, cause of my parents, which is why I got into IT. Second edit, my DMs are currently flooded, so apologies if I take a while to reply back. Trying to respond to everyone with advice. Anything that could be reduced to I make a lot of money because I move a lot of money, like brokers, insurers, Wall Street stuff, real estate agents. Realtor. While I believe they can provide value in some situations, technology has put a lot of the work into the buyer's hands. You find places you like, send them to a realtor, they walk you through and point out which rooms are bathrooms, print out a mountain of paper for you to sign and boom, $50,000 commission. I'm bracing for impact here, but diversity and inclusion officers are doing much of what HR has been doing for years. The complete opposite is dishwashing at restaurants. They can't run without one. Influencer. I wouldn't mind that job. How do I apply? Do they teach corruption or a job requirement? So many IT directors are not techs by any stretch, but just management that filled the void. They end up hiring MSPs to do the work. They pretty much balance the budget and approve requests for permissions or product purchases. I would expand this, personally. Call it the Michael Scott theorem. In any company of sufficient size, there is at least one layer of management that is completely useless, but kept around as a dumping ground for people who earned a promotion but really should have stuck to non-management work, nepotism hires, and people who definitely shouldn't have been hired but are kept around so the person who recommended/approved hiring them doesn't get embarrassed. Regional director here. 70-hour-a-week camp. I think I'm doing it wrong. You'd think out of pure dumb luck they'd eventually make a correct call, right? You'd be wrong. I have a very close friend that falls into this category. He literally sits at a desk overlooking a beautiful lake and once a month drives 60 miles to visually inspect a dam. Like, just drive to it and look at it. He always jokes, if you want to see your tax dollars wasted, come visit me at work. His previous job, road construction. Gosh, even the title of that job, Vice President of Reward. Sounds made up. Like something you'd give a Nepo baby to keep them busy. Today, I feel disabled. I feel like a migrant worker lol. Vivek Garipalli, Clover Health, $389.6 million. CLOV stock, trading $1.20/share, down 88.19% on all-time chart. 400 million to drive a company into the ground? Where do I sign up? So what have we got so far, guys? I am the payroll person at a state university, and I completely agree with this. The people in upper management aren't even in union-protected jobs who, in theory, should be the first ones gone when we need to settle the budget problems we have. Instead, they were the only ones who got raises during COVID. The president of the university I work for makes over $500,000 a year and bonuses. Anytime we've hosted an event he's supposed to show up to, we get a last-minute email from his assistant saying something came up and he can't make it. This university also refuses to pay staff/graduate students more because they claim it's impossible due to the budget not being high enough. One of the smartest moves you can make as a parent is treat those who take care of your children incredibly well. I always overpay my sitters. They're worth every penny with the peace of mind they give me. You're not being paid for the night everything goes well. You're being paid for the nightmare night. Trust me, for a break away from the kids and not have to think about them, it was definitely worth it to the parents. Don't most commercial pilots have to pay crazy money to do schooling and licensing to even start working? Most high-paid jobs may be relatively easy when you've dedicated years to learning it. You're being paid for your investment in the skill and ability to perform it with ease. Firefighters and paramedics are in the same boat. $60,000 to $80,000 a year in some places to pick up old people off the floor, but only $60,000 to $80,000 to manage the pulseless and dying child at 3 in the morning. I'm a physician, currently in residency. The CEO of our huge hospital system was doing his rounds in the pre-op area, in his little suit, saying hi to people. He picks up a surgical marking pen and says, "What's this for?" What a crock of. I do consulting. It is just either outsourced office work or creating fluffy PowerPoints to give executives an excuse to authorize spending. It's not a bad gig. Consulting refers to the business of getting seasoned, expert advice from 23-year-olds. Talk about a free resume booster too. This girl I know became a life coach and charges $300 to $500 per person for a 4-hour seminar that a friend of mine used to help her set up for. Friend said all it was 4 hours of her saying these people are great and doing yoga and breathing exercises. And she had repeat customers and often 4 to 8 people per class. $2,400 per weekend to tell people they are awesome and do a few yoga stretches. Wild. Gary, sorry to contact you over Reddit, but your Vmail box is full and you're not responding to emails. We really need that report on you/SplatRick12 if we're expected to keep Operation Thunderfuck on schedule. Please CC Big Cheese and Bright Hat, they've requested to be keep informed. Regards, Analyst 12A2 Edit, disregard, this was supposed to be a PM. Not sure how to delete on mobile over a sat phone. I was at a train museum with my kids one time that had this really cool kids area where kids could run model trains around, switch cars in the yard, etc. The whole time we were in there was an older guy running the trains. Nice guy, talked to the kids, but really into toy trains. We left before he did. As we were walking out the door, a museum worker stopped us and informed us the man was the CEO of Norfolk Southern, just playing with toy trains at a museum. You'd be surprised how many people just go to the dealership having done absolutely no research. You were a dream customer and 10% of customers are like you. I'm in fintech too. I work super hard, actually, like mind-meltingly hard, for about 45 minutes a day. Rest of the time is easy life, baby. I may be biased here, but I am not exaggerating when I say more than half of the dudes in my fraternity who dropped out of college because of bad grades became realtors. Haha, point out which rooms are bathrooms. You have to bribe your way in, so 10 plus years of corruption and bribery is minimum requirement. My lifelong best friend just got a regional VP job a month ago, and he's been trying to figure out he's supposed to be doing because thus far his duties encompass replying to / directing emails between facilities in his region. It's literally a job he could do with 1.5 hours of real, actual work per day, and the company is thrilled with his work thus far. I told him that I personally think he lucked into the perfect job, at least if you are going to work for someone else. This is a real theory. Basically, people rise to the level they can no longer excel, they no longer get promoted, and stay in the position they are just too inept to get promoted from. It's almost uncanny. There's the standard strategy, and the risky one, and then there's whatever the Ferrari are doing.